Another capitulation move today for crypto. Some stuff started looking more interesting. Litecoin was approaching that $60 kind of barrier. Dogecoin I saw at 5.8 cents. You know, a lot of other things. BNB flirting with that $200 level. So these are just things to keep your eye on, kind of thing. An opportunity to potentially dollar cost average in. But I think we're going to kind of continue to see this kind of stuff for the next 6 months, potentially a year, depending what project we're talking about. And it's going to be very, very hard for a lot of these projects to buck that trend. And this is kind of like a random situation that I saw. I hadn't logged into my Uphold account for actually like a really long time, probably more than a year, to be honest with you. And one of the things that I noticed was that they had added like all these other projects. Now, as far as an order book's concerned, it's not really kind of set up like that. It's actually buying from other exchanges and then sort of like reselling to you. And I do like the Uphold service because you can buy precious metals there. You can buy other fiat currencies, the Australian dollar, British pound, and you know, Canadian dollar, these different things. So you can move in and out of fiat, you can move in and out of precious metals, and you can move in and out of cryptos, and you have the ability to withdraw and deposit the crypto. That's very important. Some of these services that don't let you deposit and withdraw, those are a joke. Those aren't, you shouldn't be using those, in my opinion. Now, that being said, all these other projects added to these different platforms, and I had said this previously, in 2017, the only two projects that were on Coinbase at the beginning of 2017 were Bitcoin and Ethereum. So there was so much attention and so much energy kind of directed towards just a few projects. And then later in the year, ultimately, you know, they added Litecoin, and then they went on this huge push to, you know, add tons and tons of different projects. And it took, you know, clear until this last cycle. It took clear until whatever 2021 for Coinbase to even add Dogecoin, which had been, you know, this first page of coin market cap situation, you know, obviously since 2013, but even as high as, you know, top 3, top 4 project, and had sunk maybe to 30th coin market cap wise, like as far as like, you know, the market cap is concerned and everything. But by all means, you know, they just kind of ignored Doge for the longest time. But, you know, ultimately Doge got, you know, added essentially to pretty much every project or every platform, exchange and all that. But as more of these projects get added, it's the paradox of choice. And we see this with like food menus. You go to In-N-Out Burger, that's like in Arizona and California and stuff like that, and the menu is very, very simple. People don't have a lot of options. They can get a burger, fries, shake, whatever. Real simple. You see this in the dating market, the paradox of choice. There's always something better, something better, something better, something better. And this is one of the things that the older generation doesn't understand. Part of what's kind of happening, whether that be through mechanisms of social media and otherwise, is one of the issues, the paradox of choice. So crypto will suffer from the paradox of choice as more and more of these coins sort of distract. And some of them are legitimate projects, and then most aren't. Most are an embarrassment. 95% of these projects, if not 99% of these projects, are just kind of money grab scams, essentially. It's very hard to sort that out and see something that, you know, maybe in the short term is going to be, you know, a play to actually get you more Bitcoins, more Ethereum, more Dogecoin, more Litecoin, more BNB. But a lot of this stuff is just going to get your coins taken. The tokenomics aren't right, and just everything's off about it. So that being said, we are having, like, if you look even clear back to March, one of the things that I'm noticing is you're kind of having less and less energy on this kind of buy side when we have these little recovery rallies. And, you know, people expect maybe, you know, oh, it's going to get up to 31 or 32,000, and then it's like this like failed relief rally, and the energy keeps waning, and the volumes are oftentimes getting lower and lower and lower as people get squeezed out. People become disinterested. You know, people who are trying to make content They maybe quit making content. It's not worth their time. And that is a constant battle for anybody making content in the crypto space of if it makes sense to do it or not, because it can really certainly devalue your time. And then people who are upside down on their investments, they don't want to hear about what you're talking about on these digital coins. They tried to get in, they mistimed it, they got crushed. They don't want to hear it. They got other problems, and they will likely unsubscribe. So that is a constant kind of issue with having any sort of crypto channel. The interest wanes, the volumes wane, and you know, in my opinion, this whole crypto market is setting up for a pretty healthy capitulation move, you know, here in the fourth quarter. We got all kinds of stuff going on, obviously, in the world, and other things that are occurring. We got these UAW strikes in the United States, not from the United States. Basically, General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler, the union that represents a lot of the hourly wage employees, they're going on strike systematically, kind of across a lot of the, you know, parts distribution and manufacturing facilities, and these companies then have reacted and then additionally laid additional people off because they know it's going to disrupt their supply chain and disrupt their productivity. So we got that going on. Obviously, there's a lot of turmoil in the world, you know, in the Middle East and everything, and you know, obviously you have this housing bubble crisis, you know, in a lot of these different cities and a lot of these different countries. Canadian housing market, the U.S. housing market, the Australian housing market, all is overpriced. So when you compare it, the median housing price to the median salaries in most of these big cities, it's way out of whack from what it was previously. But it's this this situation of like hyper leverage kind of thing. You know, I was even seeing some stuff where Zillow was offering some kind of a thing, and I don't know if they were going through some third party or something, but they were saying like 1% down payment. And you know, as you go on, more and more people have car notes, more and more people are putting less of a down payment on these houses, and they set it up to facilitate it. And you know, I think for a lot of these markets, it's going to be a rude awakening as they kind of go forward, and if there's any kind of pullback in the economy and things kind of get a little more dicey with some of these jobs, they're not going to have the money to cover this. I guess in Canada, every 3 years, the interest rate adjusts. So with interest rates going up, a lot of those people are going to get essentially pushed out of those houses unless they can commandeer a bunch of roommates or get some extra help to kind of hold on to these properties. In the United States, you get a lot of price cuts going on in Austin, Texas, you know, Phoenix, Arizona, you know, various different places, obviously the Boise, Idaho situation, Las Vegas. You know, you get these various places where steep price cuts. People have to get out of those properties, and this whole Airbnb thing can come to a freezing stop, or the revenues significantly go down, and then the ROI is just not that good, and then people try to, you know, dip out of those, sell out of those Airbnb properties. So you got a lot of things kind of going on, and people might say, well, when is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? I thought this was going to happen a year ago. Well, I mean, it takes a long time. I mean, this stuff takes a long time to play out. And even the crypto market, that's like this, you know, this whole market that's on rocket fuel, 6 months being an eternity. And it certainly feels like an eternity because you're just waiting for these lower prices, or maybe you have some orders out there, some buy orders, and it just seems to be forever until your order is going to get, you know, essentially taken up, or you're looking for a particular price point that may or may not come. And it's just a lot of waiting. And you know, the real estate market, I mean, you're talking, it could be another 5 or 6 years before you maybe have good entries in some of these cities. So tough to find value. But that being said, guys, you know, the markets are going to be interesting kind of coming into the end of the year. And as far as crypto, I certainly start paying a lot more attention when I see these certain kind of price points where it's retesting some of these kind of lows, or it's been at that level somewhere around there for the last year, like Doge has been. And then it's like, okay, You know, it just seems like keeps skipping along the bottom and retesting this 5.8, 5.9 cent level, 6 cent level. It's just been there for a year. So anyway, guys, keep paying attention. Not saying you should allocate money. That's up to you. Obviously not financial advice. Follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, YouTube, Instagram, Steemit, Twitter, Hive, D2, Blur, everywhere.